right, man, we back. Goodfellas Sports TV. Last night, Daniel Jacobs defeated Chavez Jr. by TKO. I did not watch the fight, so don't ask me about the fight. But what I did hear is that Danny Jacobs called out Jermall Charlo if he can't get a Gennady Golovkin fight, or if he can't get any champions at 168. So now he wants to fight Jermall Charlo after going up to 168. I'll link that interview in the description and source link. Let's talk a little bit about it. We back. Goodfellas Sports TV. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, bell icon button, share the video. We know Triple G not giving a rematch. He fighting Kamil Zamata March 28th. Then he's supposed to come back in September and do a trilogy with Canelo Alvarez, which can always change. So I don't really think Danny Jacobs trying to wait almost an entire year for a IBF title shot versus Gennady Golovkin. All right, so now he wants to call out Jermall Charlo when Jermall Charlo was in the position of being up. When Charlo was on his knuckles, you know, and was trying to get a title shot and trying to holler at Danny Jacobs didn't want to fight him, or when they both didn't have a title. And people go back to that Barclays Center hallway when Danny Jacobs pulled up, "Oh, I've been looking for you," and people hear what they want to hear. People looking at who being demonstrative and who being the aggressor, you know what I'm saying? But Danny Jacobs was talking like a hoe. What Danny Jacobs said? Well, Charlo was like, "You drop your opponent, I'll drop my opponent. We could fight," because remember the Hugo Centennial Jr. fight got pushed back from February to like April or whatever, and him and Danny Jacobs were fighting, and we could part each other. That was like April. I went to that Jermall Charlo fight, and Charlo said, "You could drop I drop my opponent, you drop yours." And then Danny Jacobs got to talking about, "I'm touching this many M's, and you ain't touching this, and I'm getting more money than you," and all that. But people gonna run whatever narrative they gonna run with. That's how I know that a lot of these dudes ain't from the street, or they don't have no street sense or no street smart. You know, people looking at who getting all wild and who getting amped up, who talking loud. Loudest nigga in the room is usually the weakest one in the room. And nobody paid attention what Danny Jacobs said. Charlo was like, "You drop your opponent, I drop mine." Then, "Oh no, I'm touching M's." And come on, Danny Jacobs don't want that fight. He didn't want the fight at the time. And now that he need a way to get a title, you know what I'm saying? Now that Charlo, I'm Charlo, nigga, I can get that nigga 70-30 offer since you touching M's. That's the split I get him. You know what I'm saying? Because what do you bring to the table? You gonna get beat up by Golovkin? You got beat up by Canelo. What do you bring to the table? Only thing I can do is stop you. And what do that get me? You only won a title once. I'm a 2-division title holder. You never wanted a title at another division. You barely got the IBF title versus Sergey Derevyanchenko. But if Demetrius Andrade fight don't work, because that's the fight Charlo should be going for, because it's a unification fight. You know, Danny Jacobs fight is cute. But if they upgrade Eubanks to Super WBA title holder, if Canelo don't come back, then why would he fight Danny Jacobs? He could fight Chris Eubanks and get a unification clash. Now, out of all the fights, Demetrius Andrade the hardest one. Then Danny Jacobs and Eubanks Jr. in that order. Danny Jacobs is an easier fight than Demetrius Andrade. It is. You know, Andrade can box. He's slick. Danny Jacobs is just, he really a pedestrian fighter. He don't have much. He got a little speed, a little power, but other than that, he nothing special. You know what I'm saying? And Jermall Charlo should be able to take him out the game, but Jacobs do possess the power to take Charlo out the game, but that's what Charlo needs. I mean, the ideal opponent for Charlo would be a Eubanks or Danny Jacobs, because neither one of them is boxing savants. Jacobs he'd try to move a little bit, but for the most part he'd sit there. Demetrius Andrade the hard fight. But for the most part, you know, Jacobs will sit there, and I believe Charlo bang him out his frame. Charlo should stop Jacobs at this point. Him coming down in weight, I always thought he'd beat Jacobs. Jacobs is not that good to me. He got better jab than Jacobs. He got better 1-2 than Jacobs. He faster than Jacobs. He probably in better shape than Jacobs. They probably both around same shape. Charlo's being in tremendous shape. You know, and it need to be settled. You know, for the more appealing fight, to be honest, the more appealing fight as far as backstory is probably Charlo and Danny Jacobs. The more meaningful fight is Demetrius Andrade and Charlo. Well, Demetrius Andrade and Charlo got a great backstory too. You know, it is. But, you know, the easier fight for him between Andrade and Jacobs would be Jacobs. But at the end of the day, you know, make the fight happen. Either or. I'd rather see Demetrius Andrade because that's going to be a bigger event. you know, as far as a more meaningful event, as far as titles and, you know, him pulling out and pulling up on the Charlos and trolling them, and then pulling out versus Jamil, then pulling up on Jamal. I think that's more the meaningful fight. You got a unification class, and then if Eubanks do get upgraded to Super WA title holder at middleweight, like he said they intend to do, because Canelo said he probably not coming down to 60, it's too hard. Then Charlo can go, you know, then Charlo come back and pick up another title if he fight Andrade, and then, you know, it is what it is. But, you know, Danny might chase Callum Smith. As bad as Callum Smith looked last time out, maybe he'd chase him. But, I mean, you know, at this point, you know, he's just looking for a title. He's looking for the bigger fights. He got one more fight left on the Zone deal. I think his fight deal with the Zone was like three fights. So he fought Canelo, and then he fought Chavez last night. So he got one fight. So, you know, if Andrade and Charlo don't come into a deal, then why not Danny Jacobs and Charlo? You know, it makes a ton of sense. But Eddie Hearn said he had no problem sending Demetrius Andrade over to Showtime or Fox if they could match the offer. All right, so that's something to look out for too. So, you know, if Charlo don't want to cross the street, they willing to send Andrade across the street if they can match the offer. So it must be a real big offer because, you know, Eddie Hearn feeling good. And I'll link all that in the description. And I'll do an individual video on it. But he must be feeling good because that must be a really good offer. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, remember, you know, Tevin Farmer, Eddie Hearn gave Gervonta like $5 or $7 million. And then PBC offered him $2 million. And they couldn't match the deal. So, you know, it is what it is. Charlo got some options at the Zone. Instead of the Zone, you know, putting Callum Smith and Golovkins and Canelos. Well, Canelo fought Danny Jacobs. Put some of them in there with the brothers. Now, they willing to make fights and cross the street and have the brothers fight each other. That's just the way it's going to be in boxing. The brothers got to take the initiative and fight each other. Don't just believe, don't believe on the merit that, you know, don't believe that just, you know, you got to beat a Mexican or you got to beat, you know, there's a white fighter or a UK fighter or this Asian fighter. The brothers going to start fighting each other and kind of show the way on how to, you know, how to make big fights. But as far as that fight, I like Charlo in that fight. You know, I think too fresh, too much power, too much speed. Just too much. He got just better fighter than Danny Jacobs. Jacobs might be more experienced, but he got took a little beating versus Jacobs and shit of that nature. I mean versus Canelo. He just, I don't know, man. But it's animosity there. It's a backstory there. Especially with Jacobs saying that, you know, Charlos and his team saying, and when Andre was there on this team, they were saying that Charlos was on steroids and all that other stuff. And Demetrius Andrade was a part of that little movement. So whichever way he take, I think it's going to be a good way. But the harder fight is fucking Andrade. The easier fight is Daniel Jacobs. You know what I'm saying? That's an easy fight. Daniel Jacobs ain't got none of the skills that Demetrius Andrade do. The length, the speed, the angles, the boxing intellect. Danny Jacobs is a club fighter. You know what I'm saying? That look like a boxer. He ain't that good. I won't say a club fighter, but he a premium club fighter. He just not that good to me, bro. Over the years, man, you know, he's just not that good. I can't believe Derevchenko lost to that guy. But it is what it is, man. So we'll see what Jamal end up doing. It seemed like he got more and more options by the day, especially if Canelo get out the division for good. He might be the man around here, man. But hey, you gotta beat these guys. You know, you gotta beat you gotta beat Andrade and Eubanks and Charlo and Andrade. So you know, it's funny how time can change. You know, at one point it didn't look like he'd have any opportunity to be unified champion, and now look at him. Now he got an opportunity to be unified champion, if not 2 or 3 belts. You know, but we'll have to see what happened with him. But you know, Danny Jacobs, now he in a position of weakness. Now he need a helping hand. I expect Charlo to give him the helping hand that he didn't want to give Charlo because he was touching M's. But Charlo touching M's now too. And I wouldn't blame Charlo if he turned the other cheek and put the middle finger up to Danny Jacobs. But hey, don't forget me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Reach out to the email if you got business questions, inquiry, sponsorship, video requests. Keep sharing the videos. Want to make a donation to the channel? That link's in the description. Best way to donate is share the video. Check out our middleweight boxing playlist, boxing news, boxing rumors. Like I said, we on all social media. Want to make a donation? That link's in the description. Best way to donate, share the video. Don't forget Tony Harrison and Jamil Charlo 2 is on Fox tonight. I think it kick off at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Undercard not that appealing though. But one time for the one time. Goodfellas Sports TV, we gone.